Have you wondered what a day in the life of a real estate investor looks like? Guys, my name is Enis Shehu with Whiteacre Properties, and this channel is all about real deals, real numbers, and lessons learned. Today, we're gonna go over some calls with lenders, some calls with attorneys. I'm gonna show you our direct-to-seller marketing and what that piece looks like. And we're gonna talk about some real deals that we're closing. We'll do some walkthroughs together. I'll show you the numbers behind the deals as well. So really packed day. I'm excited for this. But before we jump into it, guys, subscribe. If you are in this channel and you get any value out of it, I want you to subscribe. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and we can grow this channel together. So without further ado, let's jump into today's video. For me, I love to learn. So the more people I can connect with and learn from, the better. The person I'm calling right now, he is a commercial lender, and a local investor spoke highly of him, and Andrew was awesome at sharing some of his contacts. He was like, hey, just talk to this lender, they've been great to work with. So even though we have some lenders we work with, if a local investor is raving about them, I'm gonna call. Being in real estate investing, it's super important that you keep networking with others. That's why we do the meetup, right? And I highly encourage you guys to do that. Come join us, say hi, talk to other people in the room. But for me, the value is about reaching out, learning, building the team, because it's never enough, right? So I'm calling Brian right now and see if we can do business together.
Hello, this is Brian.
Hey, Brian, it's Enis, Whiteacre Properties. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Your name came up with Andrew Freed, and he was very excited to mention your name. Not sure, you must be doing something right. He was super excited to mention your name. So I'm like, let's get on a call with Brian and find out if we can work together in some capacity.
Sounds good. So what do you get going on?
Well, we typically buy fix and flips mostly, but we also have about 45 doors on the rental side and growing. That's why I wanted to have a conversation, get to know you, and see what your deals look like, right? And we're currently looking for 3 to 6 unit buildings, trying to keep it on the smaller scale. We self-perform on the construction. I got a GC license, so we try to do all the work in-house and to keep costs down. And then, once it's stabilized, we try to do the burst strategy, right? We can refinance in a year or two.
Sure. Yeah. Generally on our purchase, renovate, stabilize program, right? We can do up to 80% loan to cost. Now, cost we derive as, the purchase price plus the renovation cost, right? So say you're paying $400 for the property, $100,000 renovation, that's a total project cost of $500.
Yeah.
And we can do 80% of that,
Yeah.
which means a loan amount of $400.
Yeah.
Your $100,000 comes in at the time of the acquisition,
Yeah.
right? And we fund out the construction via a line item budget at 100%.
Gotcha. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. That's it. We got one more lender now that we can work with. Properties we're going to look at, they can fund, right? So I typically ask them, where are you located and what's your business area, right? He said Middlesex, Worcester County, so this is perfect. I don't want to send him something that they can't fund because it doesn't cover their location. 2 is, what type of properties are they funding? He's a commercial lender. Typically, commercial loans are 4+ units. So if it's a 2 unit, can I still reach out to him? And he was like, well, we'll do everything. Okay, great. So it's even easier with someone like him, because if it's a 3 family, I can still reach out to him. The last one, it would be how they are underwriting deals. So he said we can go as high as 80% loan to cost. So if we're $1 million in total acquisition construction, they can come as high as 800,000. So now as an investor, I'm thinking, if I can buy something at 500, spend 300 renovating it, I'm all in at 8, it appraises for $1 million. It means that they're going to cover all my costs. I'm going to be in the deal with as little as possible. Because that's the whole goal. It's not like we have endless amount of cash. So it's like, hey, if we have 50% loan to value, that's fine. No, for us, it's like, if we can take all the cash out and it's still cash flow, meaning like the rent covers mortgages and all that, we can take that money and buy the next building. So that's how you create growth. And then the last thing you mentioned is debt service coverage ratio. When you use something like a tool like Rehab Valuator, you can plug in the numbers and look at the bottom, what is your debt service ratio? You're looking at income coming in compared to the mortgage you're paying out. And Brian said on the call, he's looking at 1.2. Most banks are looking for 1.25. So that 5 might seem like a small number, but it can make a huge difference. It means that we can pull more cash out with the same amount of rents, and will allow us, as long as we hit the 1.2. He said 1.2 or higher, but 1.2 they'll accept. And then if you notice, I asked him about, hey, I'm a new client. How are you vetting me? He was like, well, we want to make sure the deal works, but also we're going to look at you too. So credit score is still important. You're not paying your personal bills. Your credit is going to be at the bottom. And when the bank pulls credit, they're going to see that you're not paying bills regularly. They're not going to give you a loan, even though it's commercial. They want to make sure that you're a responsible person, right? So even the basic stuff like that, they're looking at it. So you got to start building that first. And I'm guilty of this. When I started out, I had credit card debt and all that. So I wasn't like low 500s. But as long as you understand, you got to do it right, and you keep building up. I could have asked him, like, what's the minimum credit score? And it's not just like credit only, right? It's credit plus what other properties you own. Do you have cash flow on those properties? What does the deal look like? And so they look at the whole picture. I'm not sure if you heard, but he said, I want a personal financial statement. And a personal financial statement, everybody, first of all, should have one, regardless if you buy real estate or not, because it shows your debt, your assets, what's your net worth, right? He likes that, and he said, I want to see the global cash flow, meaning like if you have rental properties, I want to see, are you cash flowing or not? Because the way they're underwriting me is, if I am negative every month, $10,000 on my rentals, well, I'm a problem. Because how am I going to cover this building? Even though there might be a smoking deal, I'm negative here, 10,000. So and this property is going to impact. Obviously, I came from a different country. I didn't even know what taxes were, tax returns, right? So like you got to start learning all of this. And I mentioned this is because if anybody's starting out, don't feel bad if you don't know what you're talking about. Or, you don't, I'm still learning 10 years in. But that's one call. And then we have another one coming up soon.
Hi, this is Christine.
Hi, Christine. It's Enis, Whiteacre Properties. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, is this still a good time?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Awesome. Andrew Freed mentioned your name, so and he was really excited to talk about you. So I said I got to reach out.
So all I have on information from you is obviously what he sent in the email.
Yeah.
But what else do you have going on? I'm assuming that you must have some sort of a rental property. So do you have properties that you currently have some tenants that are problems at, or are you just kind of looking to establish a connection for the future?
Exactly. It's the second one. We just went through an eviction.
Emails are always the best way to reach me if you do have something that comes up.
You got it. Thank you so much for your time. This was great. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, nice talking to you, and take care.
Bye, you too. Here we go. No, and I was actually afraid to even reach out to them because I felt like I don't have experience. I don't own real estate. What am I going to talk about? But this attorney didn't even know I've been doing this for 10 years. So it's okay to be like, you know what, I'm just looking for contact. I plan on owning rental properties and I'm trying to establish a team. Being proactive, doing this networking early on, I think it's gonna make a big difference because once you have a deal, or in this case, once you have a problem like an eviction or dealing with contractors, this attorney is one email away, right? She knows who I am. I introduced myself and she was like, just reach out anytime. So you are always looking to add people to be a resource for your business down the road, right? So you always keep that networking, keep asking questions, and you got to do these activities every day. So let me show you guys actually around the office really quick. This space right here is where our acquisition team usually hangs out. Right now, we have a couple guys that help us with all acquisition leads. We wanted to make it ours. We wanted the place to be nice because we spend hours and hours here every day. So we have really put a lot of effort into making a nice design and just making it comfortable for us, right? If we're working so hard, if we are bringing in the best people we can, we want it to be a nice place. So acquisition space, let's go in the back actually, because I want to show you guys also the direct mail. So follow me. I I don't want to bother anybody, so I'm glad that we have the room here to ourselves. We use this space also as storage, but this is Eric's corner. And the best part about this is that we have these machines that help us with direct mail. We have a bunch of printers, but these machines are really cool because we're trying to make it look like it's handwriting. And we want to stand out. So if you come closer, I want to show you what our direct mail piece looks like. Just a basic envelope, but first of all, it's colorful, so it stands out. And we are using the machines to make them look like somebody took the time to handwrite it. Being in the direct-to-seller world, you want to stand out from all the junk people get. And has been working really good. This one, for example, is an out-of-state owner. They are in Orlando, Florida. And my goal with this piece is that they take it and be like, wow, seems like somebody's inviting me to something, or, you know, seems very unique, and I'm hoping they open it up, right? That's the goal. Let me show you guys how this works. Because this is the cool part. We have our list here already filled out. Everything is done through a virtual assistant because that is time consuming, right? And we go for a lot of specialty lists like probates, water shutoffs. Any issue that a property might have is typically a good reason to reach out to somebody if they have the equity. Hopefully they want to sell, right? And we want to be there when they're ready to sell. So we create that list, virtual assistant do that for us. Eric that runs the show here, he'll take the list and then feed these machines in order for us to get the correct names and get the correct addresses. These are expensive machines. I mean, each machine costs about $7,000 or $8,000. It's been a while since we bought one, but now we got 4, right? So we didn't start with 4, we started with 1, and actually we started just doing some handwriting on our own. We started hiring other companies, and I highly recommend that you look into that. Let me show you one other piece. This is also done from the same machines, right? It's a basic message. It says, Dear Howard, I hope you are well. I'm still interested in purchasing your property at 41, blah, blah, blah. If you are interested in selling, I'd love the opportunity to speak with you. So this message is very, very simple, guys. We're not doing anything incredible when it comes to the text itself. I think where we stand out is that this is handwritten, and hopefully we stand out compared to other people that are just doing type letters. And ours are branded, and we put our website at the bottom so people can go visit us. It's nothing special in that sense, other than we got some colors in here, we got a logo, and it's handwritten. The last piece about direct mail is, one, be consistent. This seems very simple, but it's a huge idea, because if you are not consistent, and by consistency mean do it for 6 months at a minimum, ideally commit whatever money you get for marketing to at least a year. But don't try it for a month or 2 and say direct mail doesn't work, because there's thousands and thousands of investors out there buying properties through direct mail, and it works if you have the right list, if you have the right process here with your letters and envelopes, and if you are consistently doing it. Because people are not going to reach out to me because this is handwritten. That's not the reason. I'm hoping that this letter will be around in their living room or kitchen when they're ready to sell, right? I'm hoping that this is something that when they open, they're like, yeah, you know what? I've thought about selling. I don't know if I'm ready. And instead of throwing it in the trash, they leave it there. If that's the case, it's a winner. And if I send one of these every month, which that's what we do, now we stay top of mind. I hope you guys enjoying this tour. I obviously wanted to show you what's possible as a real estate investor, because you can have nice office, right? You can have nice building. Most importantly, though, for me, is to really attract the right people in here. And the office is an environment to bring these people together. The business is all about having the right people. I learned that the hard way. I didn't know how to hire. To be honest, I had no idea. I just hired based on gut feelings, right? Somebody walked in the door, they're looking for a job. I'm like, sure, let's go. As we have gotten better, as we've grown the business, I've learned how to hire, to use the core values on interviews, to be clear about what type of people we need here. Working with A players, I also have to bring my A game. And that's not easy, right? There's days that you just don't want to come to the office. As an entrepreneur, things don't work perfectly all the time. It's actually the opposite. So you have to have the positive mindset. And we made that a core value because there's so much negative stuff that can happen day in and day out, with deal falling through, with contractors not doing their part, struggles internally, right, between the team. And we need to have the positive mindset that anything can be overcome. Keep that in mind. Real estate investment investing, it might be simple, but it's not an easy business. We have a lot of money at stake. We are borrowing a lot of capital for these deals. We need to know our numbers. It's challenging, guys. And I think for me right now, it's all about bringing the right people, the right team. This place here, this office has been amazing to own because people are attracted, they have a good environment, but also as the culture, right? We spend a lot of time here together. So it's a culture of collaboration. It's a culture of giving feedback, open and honest feedback to each other. It's a culture of, hey, yeah, we'll screw up, but we're going to learn from it and do better next time. So that's why we have core values on the wall for always improving. Let's learn from what happened. We can do better next time. In a nutshell, what we do on a daily basis is conversations with sellers and offers, right? We put this on the wall. I remember seeing this online from a real estate investor one day, and I'm like, makes a lot of sense. It's all about conversations with sellers and sending offers to everybody you talk to that has an interest in selling real estate. And you got to do this day in, day out. Conversations with everybody, tell them what we're up to, submit offers. Yeah, I wanted to show you this space because it has been a game changer for us to bring the right people in, to raise capital, right? Because I can have meetings here. The other cool thing that has been good is when we have classes, right? And guys, check out the newsletter. We have some awesome classes here at the office. I try to do them every quarter, and I try to have those classes in the afternoon. So if you guys are interested in learning more about real estate investing, sign up for the newsletter at the bottom. And every time we're ready to start another class about real estate investing and break down the deals we're buying and how we're finding them and the construction numbers and the management and the processes, there's so much that we do in those 8 classes. The only way though to know about it is if you sign up and get that newsletter every month, and when we're ready, we're gonna announce it. Now, before we jump in the car and drive to those 2 projects, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background. It's easy for me to be out there and be like, hey, we just bought this house. This is how much we paid. This is what we're going to spend. But there's a lot of work in the office that we do as a team to get ready for acquisition. A lot of the work that I'm going to show you is done even before buying the property. Let's jump into my screen here and take a look at it. Use some type of a CRM to capture all your leads. As a real estate investor full-time, when I started out, I just had a spreadsheet, and that works fine. If you got a handful of leads, I think even up to 100 or 200 leads or even 500, probably just having a spreadsheet that's free, like Google Excel, is fine. But once you start generating a ton more leads, either sign up or buy some type of a CRM to track all your activity. The number one mistake me and my brother Yoni made starting out was not following up with everybody, not having all our leads in here, and we left a lot of money on the table that way, a lot. So we lost on deals, and I wish we could have something like a Podio CRM like we're running now, and invest in it early on, because that way we could have picked up a lot more deals. We're working with Podio. So this is a customized Podio site for us. Property address is right there at the top. Seller's name is right there. We got it assigned for $300,000. We put $2,000 in deposits. And Podio allows you to pretty much track everything. So we have our attorney there. And when I talk about real deals, guys, this is real, right? So we're walking a property, but these are the real numbers. This is the real transaction process that we have created for our team to follow. And it's the same thing every single time. And that's the beauty of having actually a CRM, because once you put that system in place, well, you can train the team on that. And every single time we gotta have the same process. If we are trying to reinvent the wheel every single time, things will fall through, things will break. So we're trying to keep it consistent. And a CRM like this does allow that. Our transaction coordinator and the acquisition team spends a lot of time here. And there's next steps. Obviously, when you signed an offer, we review the offer, send offer deposit. Like, this keeps us accountable. Everybody knows where you're at, right? Because you're changing the status. But also the person that's running point, which is the transaction coordinator, everything she's doing, it's here. And she doesn't need to update the rest of the team because it's easy for everybody to figure it out. So this happened in September, right? September 4th is when we closed on it, and we executed a PNS, purchase and sale agreement. The inspection, we had a walkthrough just to make sure there's no issues. That got approved, but that got approved by our project manager, and then You can have space here for deal issues. Seller trying to back out, that happens all the time. Seller needs more time, that happens all the time. So there's a space for that. And then you got closing checklist. Guys, it seems easy to be a real estate investor from the outside. There is a lot of moving parts, and a good transaction coordinator like the one we're working with makes our life easy, but there's so many steps to take to get us to a closing table. Does buyer need a final walkthrough? 2 weeks before closing, review assignment terms. If we are assigning the deal, request that proceeds be wired, right? Money to be wired. There's a lot of different things you got to do in order to close the loop on the deal. So we have all of that here. We have closing checklist, coordinate a walkthrough with me, confirm the lender. Does the lender require an LLC? So much. Even testimonial videos, right? We are trying to get sellers to leave us testimonial videos because we want to build on our credibility. So everything is here for our transaction coordinator to go from one to the next, right? And not miss anything. It's like a checklist. And hopefully this is helpful to you guys. If it is, please like the video and share it with other people that are in the real estate investing space. We want to obviously get this out to as many people as possible. All right, let's go down to, obviously, manager's information is there, the TC information is there, but this is important and I wanted to share with you. So July 29 is when we got this deal under contract. This one was actually a very quick closing. We closed on September 4th. So between signing the deal and the closing was just over a month. This will be a Whiteacre acquisition. We'll close on it. So this is important because sometimes we assign deals, right? We assign our deals to other buyers, but this one we're closing on it. So offer call to finalize decision. Seller decided to move forward with us as buyers. Final offer is $300,000 with closing in 60 days, even though we closed in 30 because seller was ready to close sooner. Seller did not sign offer over the phone, but committed to sign a few minutes after. So all of these are notes from conversation between us and the seller, and it's important to put them here because we talk to so many different people and you forget what somebody said, right? So track it all down. And a CRM like Podio, there is so many out there, guys. It's a tool for you to really stay organized, but run this as a real business, right? This is not a hobby. Hopefully this is valuable. We will go take a look at this project in a little bit, and then we'll talk more about the scope of work and the construction numbers and all that stuff. But behind the scenes, me here in the office, this is what I look for to make sure we're staying on track and nothing is falling through, but also to plan, right? Raise the capital, making sure I have the money at closing, the day of closing, make sure we have insurance, all these moving parts, and you need to stay organized. So that's my takeaway, at least from this part right here. Now we are on the road, and the first stop is going to be here in Framingham, really close to the office, which is great for me because I can go and check on the project. But this lead that we're going to take a look at together came from another wholesaler, a good friend of ours that's crushing it in the real estate investing space. He knows Framingham is one of our desired location, and he came to us with this lead. And guys, that's the best part, because if you got wholesalers that know their numbers, that's beautiful, right? Because we don't have to spend a lot of money on marketing. If we can get these leads from wholesalers, they make money. If the numbers work, we make money. It's a win-win. So that's where the lead came from. And anyone watching, if you are a wholesaler, reach out. I would love to talk to you guys. If you are local to the greater Boston market, please reach out because we are looking for deals, right? So if you have a lead that you don't know what to do with, if you have a unique situation, you want some feedback from our acquisition team, guys, we are ready and willing to talk about all that stuff. So keep me in mind. I wanted to share with you guys how I have structured the construction side of the business. And everybody does this a little differently, right? I know plenty of investors that all they do is wholesaling, right? They buy or they get a property under contract, assign that agreement to somebody like me. Nothing wrong with that. That's a business model that works really well. For us, we do all of the above. And the reason for that is because we want to be able to monetize on all the leads we got. The construction side of the business, though, is structured in a way that I'm the GC on file. So I went in a few years ago and became a general contractor just because I really wanted to control my own jobs. Starting out with our Wayland project, which was our first one in 2014 and 2015, I hired a general contractor. And I'll tell you guys, I really had a hard time with that, because one is they call the shots, right? They are the one hiring all the contractors, the electrician, the plumber, the framers, the siding, whatever. But most importantly, if something happened to them, I lost the whole crew, right? I lost control of the project. So I decided early on to become a general contractor, and instead of me hiring a GC to do my jobs, I could decide where to buy, what type of renovations to do, and then go out and hire subcontractors. So that's how we've structured our business, where I'm the GC on file, I pull permits, and then I have some help from two really good guys, a PM, a project manager, who is the hands-on, on-site person, and then an admin in the office. And these guys obviously are doing a lot of work, because at any given year, we're doing somewhere between 10 and 15 projects, and these are heavy construction. You'll see the one in Westborough in a little bit. They take a lot of time, a lot of money, and it's a small team. It's just me and 2 more guys. So guys, we are at the single family here in Framingham. Before going in, I just want to let you know briefly the numbers on this one. After all, the name of the channel is Real Deals, Real Numbers and Lessons Learned. Acquisition price is $370,000. Single family, this is 3-bedroom, 1 bath. It got a full basement that we're gonna finish, but this is gonna end up being a full gut renovation. ARV is somewhere in the 650 range, and what we have for budget on the construction is 150,000, and for timeline we have 6 months. If you guys are starting out, the best way to find these numbers, because this whole real estate investing game, it's about knowing your numbers, but the ARV, you can find that through a really good agent. You can reach out to us for feedback, come to the meetup, right? But those are ways for you to get really good at it. On the construction side, what you're gonna do is work with a developer or with a GC to find out what are the construction numbers gonna be. But schedule and budget is gonna come from somebody experienced that you're gonna hire, or again, if you have the experience, you're gonna end up doing this on your own. For us, it's been trial and error. I wish I could tell you guys that I knew this from the beginning. I'm still struggling with numbers sometimes, because when we buy homes like this, we don't see what's behind the walls. We don't really know what we can do with it unless we are already through demo and, you know, involved in it. Hello? Hello? Well, this is it. They're tough on day one to look at, to have a vision, but they can be beautiful homes. It's an unfortunate situation, whoever lived here, but we want to turn and make this home really nice for the neighborhood, for, you know, new people to come in. And that's why our services as investors are needed, right? Because we can deal with this type of homes where most likely nobody else will deal with it. But you got mold, you got whole type of crazy stuff in here. So it's an order situation. These people had a lot of stuff in here. So we're gonna end up cleaning it all. Hello? You never know what you're gonna find in these homes. Look at that. It's insane. The water is still running. At the end of the day, as long as the seller is reasonable, you know, typically we can find a way to make a deal work, right? So he was reasonable with the asking price. His most important thing was to make sure that we closed before he bought the next house. He wanted to buy another house out of state. And so he needed the money from the sale of this property to line up on the purchase of the other one. So we said we have the flexibility. And we closed in 30 days to accommodate the needs of the seller, which is very difficult to do if you're going to list on the MLS. The best thing to do is to find out what is the seller trying to accomplish with the sale of the home, and find the whole story. You know, so the seller wanted to move out of state to buy a cheaper home. Okay, great. Where is that money coming from? Well, the money is coming from the sale of this home. Okay, great. So if we line up the closing of this one before buying the new one, then you can get the cash and buy the new house, right? Yeah, that's perfect. So let's do this. You identify the home. Once you know the closing date on that one, we're going to close just a few days before on this one. Does that work for you? Oh, that would be amazing. That's what made the deal work. Guys, we are on site number 2. I had promised you to bring you to Westborough. This is the property that we talked about at the office where we paid $300,000 for. One thing, if you are doing fix and flips, as a quick tip, put these signs on your projects. You never know who's driving by, right? So if they're looking to sell, this is free advertising. And another lesson learned from when I started out, guys, I wasn't doing that. But now every project, the moment we buy, a sign goes up saying we buy houses. Single family home. Look at this. When we do full gut renovations, typically they don't look like this because there is some type of an exterior sheathing and siding, but everything had to go. We had nothing between the drywall and the siding. There was no insulation. And because we're doing cathedral ceiling on the top, we have to frame new roof. Let me show you guys as we go inside. We are pretty much changing the whole layout here. As you come in, the existing framing showed a living room there and a kitchen in the back, and this is gonna be wide open. So there's gonna be now a living room and a kitchen where you could see it as you come in. This whole space is gonna be wide open. Our dining is gonna end up being here, and we're gonna have a full bath in that corner, a washer and dryer, and then that room is gonna be like a study room. So this is gonna end up being 4-bedroom, 3 baths, the second floor where all the bedrooms are. We looked at comparable sales and we saw prices in the $900,000 to $1 million. But those had better layouts and they had better finishes. And that's what we are targeting, right? So just so you guys know, we acquired this for $300,000. We have an ARV of $950 and our construction budget is $350. So when you look at those 3 numbers I just shared, that's not all profit that's left over because you got to subtract interest, property taxes, property insurance, right? All this other costs. But the goal for us at Whiteacre is to make 20% of the sale price. So if we can sell this for $1 million, the goal is to make $200,000 in profit. So one of the lessons learned here is that different towns take a lot longer to issue building permits. We closed on this in September. We are now in November and all we have done is demo. So that's a long time to sit on it. We said, you know what, let's pull a demo permit in the meantime and get this property ready, but we cannot frame yet because we need a building permit, which we have filed for, but the building inspector was looking for framing plans and a bunch of different things that we didn't have ready. Now, obviously, we can be like, okay, we messed it up, what can we do? And that's the approach we took. Let's learn from this. So now what we want to do next time around is get all the plans ahead of time and try to file for building permit even before buying the house. So when we close on it, then we can start renovations. Because waiting for a month for a building permit, now that's downtime, guys. So you're paying interest on the loan you took, and it can be thousands of dollars. It can be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 that you just kind of waste. That's my takeaway from this project here. We're just waiting for the building permit. Next time around, we're gonna try to get that building permit as close to the closing date as possible. Any day that we sit on a property with no activity, it's a bad day. There are always things to do better, but here we are on a Wednesday at 2 p.m. and there's nobody here, right? And that's not because I don't have any contractors to show up, it's because we can literally start work, right? If we do any framing right now, we're gonna get a stop order, and I don't want that. You know, I wanna play by the rules and do it right. Fingers crossed, we get our building permit this week, and then we got framer lined up to start. We got already materials on site, because as we wait, we've been thinking of what can we do? Have our dumpster ready, so everything is here for us to execute once we have that building permit. So today we shared with you all what we do at Whiteacre, right? A little bit of a behind the scenes, just to see what we're buying, what does that look like, and hopefully it's helpful for you to take certain things and implement it in your business. That's my goal with these videos. And if you guys find this helpful, like I said, definitely subscribe, but also comment below and give me some of your feedback of what you guys want to learn more about. I'm all about sharing my experience with Whiteacre here in the greater Boston as a full-time investor, but also want to share the lessons learned. That's a big deal for me. But you guys might have other ideas. So comment below, want to hear from you. If you want to stay in touch, there's a newsletter link below. We share once a month properties that we're wholesaling. We share any classes that we're doing for everybody, our meetup events that I highly recommend you come and join, because those are incredible networking opportunities. That was my plan for you guys today. Now we're wrapping up. I'm actually very close to the office. I spend a lot of my day driving around, so I gotta go back, catch up on the emails and on my to-dos before I head home. And I hope this was valuable. I would love to connect with you one-to-one. So like I said, reach out, come to the meetup, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for following me today.